Hey Ismar, how you going?
Good, good. Yourself, Luke?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. And just for everyone's interest, you're currently a mortgage broker. That's a new endeavour that you fall into, but your background lies in business broking.
Correct. So my background was 12 years of selling small to medium-sized businesses. And just recently, I've switched over to mortgage and finance broking.
That's awesome. And obviously there's reason behind that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to, from you today was what are the things that people should be looking at doing if they're looking to sell their business in the future or even add value to their business in the interim? What are the key things they need to be concerned about?
Look, number one, I personally would always say start planning 2 to 3 years before you actually want to sell the business. Unfortunately, some people just can't do that because of personal circumstances. But, main thing is get your financials in order. And that's why I'm saying give yourself 2 to 3 years and start thinking about selling while you're still happy in your business.
Yep.
Don't leave it too late because that's when you probably start negotiating on your price as well. That's the way I look at it.
And what's the reason someone would want to sell a business? I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, but what are some of the common reasons that people do sell a business?
Most common one is health. And that's what I mean by preparing your business, unexpected health issues. But, that retirement, family is another big one. So, a young couple come into a business and then they become pregnant and it's very hard to run the business. So that's another quite a big reason as well.
Yeah, gotcha. And I guess what are the main things people can do from a value point of view? What are the key factors that add value to a business? Is it having a number of services? Is it being a specialist in an industry? What are the things in relation to that?
Oh, that's a hard one because there's so many different industries. But look, I specialize a lot in hospitality because that's my background. Definitely, add more services or types of foods to your menu. Another big thing that I've seen in the last probably 5 years is online businesses. They're just going gangbusters. Reason being is, your overheads are much smaller.
Mm-hmm. That's
another key element when trying to sell your business. Try and keep your overheads quite low. Rent's a big one. I always say, try and keep your rent below 10% of turnover. So if you're making $10,000 a week turnover, your rent should not be more than $1,000 a week, which is really hard in shopping centers, unfortunately. But, anywhere between 5 and 8%, you're doing really well because you're giving yourself enough space for the other overheads.
Yeah, perfect. And as a business owner, sometimes we're quite entrenched in our businesses and we're quite involved in the day-to-day. Is it fair to say that that's quite unattractive for a buyer of a business? And, what should someone be doing if they're currently quite involved in their business? What do they do to make themselves more valuable or get prepared for sales? So does that involve, having really solid process and procedures, or what does that look like?
Definitely the owner should try and let go, try and stop micromanaging every single aspect of their business. Because the last thing a buyer wants to see is, yeah, you're making good money, but you're also working 70 hours a week in your business. And that way as well, can the new person that's coming into the business really fulfill every single aspect of what that person is doing? And how much is it actually going to cost me as a purchaser to replace you?
Yes.
All the different aspects of what you're doing there as well. So if you can try and take yourself out of it, like for example, a hair salon, most people start, as a single hairdresser, then they come and get a couple of workers. Best case scenario is if the actual owner, her or himself, is not actually working on the floor.
Yes.
If they're just looking, either just making coffee or being at the cash register, that's then considered a really good business.
Yeah.
The owner is actually not the business.
Yep. And I guess I'm very fortunate where I'm in very much a strategy-based position with Modern Visual. And, I guess that's where if someone were to one day take over Modern Visual, there's that opportunity to just replace that strategy element.
Correct. Yeah. There's always that good old saying is, is the owner the business? What am I actually buying? And Am I buying the owner or am I buying the business? And when the owner walks away, is the business walking away with that owner?
Definitely. What's the key differences for those that don't know between a sale and an acquisition, if it can be put that way? I know that some people are acquired and that they still operate their business within another business or brand, and there's also obviously a handover where they walk away from their business. So is that something that's worth looking at?
Acquisitions happen more so on a larger scale. So that's more so your medium to big size businesses. Like I'll give you an example. Let's say a business is worth $2 million and the buyer is scared to put the full $2 million up front. They may give you $1 million up front and then the other $1 million within 12 months time, with the owner to stay back over those 12 months and work at a capacity of, let's say, two days a week. That way the buyer is actually more assured that the business will keep going on its path. Whereas just a sale is simply, if you want to call it, turnkey operation, walk in, walk out. You know, the old owner walks out, I walk in, and the business sale is done.
And
Those are the two main differences.
Which is a more common thing that occurs?
More to medium size, definitely the sale.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess, you know, based on COVID at the moment, what are things that you can recommend to people, considering the circumstances? There's a lot of businesses out there that are struggling. You know, we were talking before we recorded about keeping fit and healthy and having a positive vibe and energy. I mean, what's your advice to people around that? There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. How do we fight it?
Oh, I was saying to you before, I've been stuck in my beautiful 4 walls for 9 months now, building the new business. At the start, in the first wave, I did a competition, or not a competition with myself, which was trying to walk 10 kilometers a day for 30 days. Mm-hmm. That really got me going, got the blood going. I also, because I'm not in sales anymore, I'm not a business broker anymore, I really missed that element of going into an office and just talking to other brokers or going out for lunch. So what I just do is, you know, I make 1 or 2 phone calls a day and I just reach out to people. Whether it's somebody I spoke to 5 or 6 years ago, and just saying, hey, how you going? And, you know, having a bit of a listen. And that's really turned a lot around for me as well. About 2 months ago, I was quite down. And my sales coach actually said to me, Izzy, just start making 10 phone calls a day and just say hello to people. And that really, really got me up and going. It made me feel a lot better because it was a genuine phone call. And people really thanked me for it as well. So just, yeah, being positive, try and eat right, which I'm not doing perfectly either. I love my pizzas. I think I had pizza 3 times last week.
You turned into a pizza.
You know, just in moderation of everything, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Now, did you want to explain to people what you're doing now? What was the trigger for that career switch? And explain to people a little bit more about where you're at right now and where you're heading.
Yeah, definitely. So I did business broking for 12 years. So I'm a big believer in passion. And unless I'm 110% passionate about something, I just don't feel like doing it anymore. So, you know, I did it for 12 years and that fire in my belly just started sort of slowly but surely dwindling down. I wasn't getting out of bed with the passion or the excitement that I used to was. So when the first coronavirus hit, I looked at it as a perfect opportunity to reinvent myself. And I've always had a passion and a close eye on finance because when I was doing a lot of business sales, I found it very, very hard to find a finance broker who understood self-employed people and business owners and business loans in general. So I thought I could sort of fit into that model. So I did my certificate in finance broking, and I've been getting accredited by banks, and I'm about 6 months into it now, and I'm doing really well. Very much enjoying it, and I've got that that extra spring in my step. You know, that passion is back again. That flame is back again. So I'm really enjoying it.
And we also talked about how it's also important to have that strong support network around you. And, there's plenty of business out there. You're very fortunate to have a few guys that you're surrounded with that, you support each other, and I'm fortunate to know.
Correct. So, because at you're part of it too, at our boxing gym, majority of the people there are established business owners themselves. So just their little network helped me out. It was Brent Puller who actually introduced me to Mortgage Express, and I've never looked back. He's been immense to my growth in this company, but I couldn't speak highly enough of Mortgage Express as a company either. From the setup, from the mentoring program, from the CEO, there's roughly about 60 mortgage brokers Australia-wide under the banner. We're all self-employed, and everybody helps each other out. Coming from a sales background into now more of a service industry, the brokers help each other out a lot more than, let's say, sales agents help each other out.
And I guess, another last thing to sort of talk about, we're talking about earlier again before we hit record about different companies and how technology can make your life more efficient. How important is that to you to, I guess, deal with businesses that have a really awesome tech stack and tech focus?
Well, I was just saying to you before about some of the lenders that have gone completely digital. Last week I did a loan for a gentleman or a couple actually down in Morwell. Morwell is about 2 hours drive from my house. So for me, it would have been a 4-hour round trip just to sign some paperwork. This lender's done it all digitally. So it was simply clicking a button and they had it, they read it, they returned it to me, and I was able to use that 4 hours to actually work on something else. Now, not every single lender has caught up as good as this particular one, but more and more are now jumping on board. And I think moving forward, they say it takes 60 days to form a habit. So I think a lot more people may be spending some more time at home and wanted to make it a lot more easier to operate with businesses. So, not just for mortgages, but any business out there that makes it more streamlined and digital for the client or the customer is just going to get a lot more business.
Yeah, I always say Corona's been obviously a tragedy for the world, but off the back of this tragedy is new cultural norms in society around video meetings, Zoom, all that sort of thing just being more accepted, especially with the older community. I sort of, anyone that might be over 50, they're very more accepting of technology now by force. That's just going to mean the world's going to get more done a lot more efficiently.
Correct. No, I couldn't agree more with you. Look at us today. We're doing it over Zoom, Usually we'll be done over a coffee somewhere, at your place or my place, but this is great. It's acceptable. And every single one of my initial meetings with clients has been over Zoom so far. And they're actually liking it too, because it gives them more time to do what they need to do.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate the chat today, Ismar, and I'll share your details in the comments, but is there any way that people can reach out to you if they wanted to? Definitely.
My phone number, my email. I'm always happy to chat. Whether it's something you want to do now or within a year or two, we can put a plan together. I'm doing a lot of planning and goal setting with first-time buyers. It's very important. Or even if you just want to give me a call and see if you've got enough deposit saved up to purchase a house, just give us a buzz.
Yeah, awesome. No, I'll get those details shared, and appreciate your time today. It was great to connect, and we'll talk very soon.
My pleasure. Thanks, Luke.
Talk soon. See ya.
Ciao.